In Islamic psychology, ilm al-nafs, negative thoughts are not just mental clutter, they are seen as a battlefield for the heart. Imam Gazali, in his magnum opus Ihya Ulum al-Din, the revival of the religious sciences, provides a profound framework for understanding and conquering these whispers. The scholarly approach to overcoming negative thoughts, waswasa. First, understand the source, the 4 types of thoughts. Al-Ghazali explains that thoughts, kawater, entering the heart generally come from 4 sources. Recognizing them is the first step to neutralizing the bad ones. Rabbani, direct inspiration from Allah to guide a person. Malaki, thoughts that encourage virtue and truth. Nafsani, egoistic, thoughts originating from the lower self, nafs, usually centered on desires and instant gratification. Shaitani, persistent whispers, waswasa, aimed at creating doubt, fear, or despair. Reference: Al-Ghazali notes in the Ihya that the heart is like a fortress, and negative thoughts are the enemy trying to enter through the gates of lust, anger, and greed. Second, the Ghazalian method, the chain of action. Al-Ghazali details the anatomy of a thought to show us where we can intervene before it becomes a sin or a habit. Hajis, a sudden, fleeting thought, not accountable. Gatir, the thought lingers or begins to take shape. Hadith al-Nafs, the internal dialogue where you debate the thought. Ham, the intention to act on it. Azm, the firm resolve to execute the thought. The strategy, scholars suggest cutting the path at the hajis or katir stage. If you ignore a negative thought the moment it appears, it dies. If you feed it with attention, it moves toward resolve. Third, practical steps for overcoming negativity. Spiritual deflection, dhikr. The Quranic remedy is immediate. And if an evil whisper comes to you from Satan, then seek refuge in Allah. Quran 7-200. The logic? Scholars compare dhikr remembrance to a light. When light enters a room, darkness, negative thoughts, naturally vanishes. Opposing the thought, mukhlafa. Imam al-Ghazali suggests that if the nafs whispers a thought of arrogance, one should immediately perform an act of humility. If it whispers fear of the future, one should reflect on past blessings, shukur. Cognitive reframing, tafakkar. Muslim scholars emphasize contemplation. When hit with a bad thought, for example, I am a failure, one should engage in tafakkur. Is this thought true based on revelation? Does this thought lead to the pleasure of Allah? Reference: Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned that thoughts are like travelers on a road. If you don't offer them a seat, they will eventually pass by. Fourth, the concept of ignoring al-irad. For those suffering from intrusive thoughts or OCD-like spiritual anxiety, scholars like Ibn Hajar al-Haytami gave a specific fatwa. The cure for waswasa is to totally disregard it. Asterisk, do not argue with the thought. Do not try to prove the thought wrong. Simply acknowledge it is a whisper and move your physical body to a different task. Dealing with negative thoughts. Step action scholarly wisdom. Identification, label it as waswasa. It is a sign of pure faith that you dislike these thoughts. Hadith. Immediate response, seek refuge. Ta'awud. Don't entertain the guest you didn't invite. Diversion, change your physical state. Move from sitting to standing. Perform wudu. Intellectual check practice, tafakkur. Compare the thought against the mercy of Allah. Overcoming these thoughts is a lifelong jihad of the self. It isn't about never having a bad thought, it's about how you respond when they knock on the door of your heart.